Hey, what's going on, Soulmates? Soulkeeper Comics Media and Memorabilia here, and I want to hit you guys up with some thoughts about the rest of the Marvel Legends Reveals from Hasbro's Pulsecon. And the first one I want to talk about is Knull. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I didn't see Knull coming a mile away, and I am very much pleasantly surprised by this figure. I think that it looks great, the details look awesome, it looks like it's an entirely new sculpt. I'm a little excited about this figure, even though, admittedly, I don't know the most about Knull. I'm not intimately familiar with him like I am some other characters. So, I don't have lots and lots to say about him like I would maybe Mephisto or something. But this is a very cool action figure. We are just looking at a digital render of Knull right now, so it's kind of hard to judge the quality that we would be able to see on a prototype. But it does look like he's going to have a ball-jointed torso. I think he's going to have a ball-jointed torso. I can't see how they would get ab articulation on him with the type of design he has, with the armor on his torso, so ball-jointed torso looks most likely. I'm really hoping that the torn fabric on his skirt is going to be made of a pliable plastic, but I'm not really worried about that because Hasbro is usually pretty good about enabling mobility with their figures. Like Doctor Doom, he's got some splits down the side of his tunic so he can move his legs around and stuff, and so on and so forth. These days, it's easy to get pliable plastic on our figures and to move their legs around, thankfully, right? I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to get this action figure because Knull is not one of those characters that I absolutely have to have. But for all the people who are into symbiotes, who are into this character, obviously this is a must-have because this one looks great. This is awesome work here, and I hope that the final prototype for this matches what we see from this digital render. I want to add that I really don't like that we're seeing more and more digital renders instead of prototypes now. It seems that more and more Hasbro is relying on these digital renders to sell their pre-orders before they've even produced a single prototype, because what if we buy these figures based on digital renders, and then once we finally get the figure, it's nowhere near the quality of the digital render? That worries me. I don't like this. This is definitely something that I think we're going to be seeing more of going forward. Using digital renders to sell pre-orders feels like another way to scam us. Just like HasLab, aka ScamLab, and Hasbro Pulse Premium memberships. And next I'd like to talk about the Marvel Superheroes retro card Scarlet Witch and Vision. Scarlet Witch is a figure that kinda looks like every other women action figure that we've seen in the Marvel Legends line. I've noticed that they kind of use this same body on a lot of different figures. I do notice that there is a breastplate on the upper part of her torso, which is a little bit different from some of the other figures, because that part is very obviously sculpted on. That I like. But the rest of the parts feel like they're just borrowed. It feels like she's kinda just there. This looks like a C tier to me, maybe a D tier depending on the quality when we finally get it, but it's so unremarkable that I just don't really have that much to say about it, other than they could have done something with her a little more exciting, maybe. The most that I'll say about Scarlet Witch is that it looks like a Scarlet Witch figure, and they sculpted on her breastplate, so thank God for that. Vision, on the other hand, looks like garbage. They've just painted on his designs. It looks tacky, it looks cheap, it always does when they do it on a Marvel Legends figure, and they shouldn't have bothered. They shouldn't have even bothered making this. If you support what I do, please click subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single video of mine when it comes out. And if you want to hang out with me and my soulmates, I stream live on Twitch Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They should really just cancel this retro card line because they're not really going out of their way to re-release rare action figures that people still want. They're just releasing garbage. What's the point? Just stop. Don't even bother, man. Next up is Vulcan, and I was pretty surprised by this. I can't believe that they chose this character to base an entirely new body on, but they did. And I really don't care about the character, but I guess it's nice that they're making a new body with pinless joints and all. I don't really understand why Hasbro admits that they reuse parts and they recycle bodies and stuff like that, because to my way of thinking, Shouldn't do that. That's a point of shame. I would be ashamed if I admitted to someone, yeah, I recycled the bodies on my action figures and resell them again. No, don't admit that to the customer. It's embarrassing. I mean, sure, the more observant among us might recognize it when we see it, but even when it happens, don't admit it. It's just a point of pride. Next is the MCU Captain America 2-pack with Sam Wilson from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Steve Rogers from Avengers Endgame. And I think this is a pretty good 2-pack. I don't have a problem with this one. And if you didn't pick either of these figures up when they came out, I think this is a pretty good deal. Go ahead and get it. One thing I did notice on the Sam Wilson Captain America figure though was that it looked like his goggles were a little jacked up. I hoped that they might have fixed that on this figure, but I'm not sure that they did looking at it, so it is what it is at this point, I suppose. It's nice that Sam Wilson is coming with an extra Anthony Mackie head now. I wish they had included that in the original figures package from the Build-A-Wings line, but they didn't, and that's a little disappointing. Guess I should have waited to get Sam Wilson from that line because I don't have Avengers Endgame Cap. This would have been a pretty good deal for me, honestly. And on the topic of MCU figures, it looks like we're getting a Winter Soldier re-release. This looks like a pretty good figure, even if it is a re-release, and I don't have any problems with it. I might pick this one up. And finally, the last Marvel Legends Pulsecon reveal I want to talk about today is Despair. He sucks. This figure is another lazy piece of trash that's been goosed up with a fancy cape and a nice head sculpt, but the little flame details that are painted on his forearms look horrible. They look cheap. Looking at that, it looks like a very obvious place on the figure where there should be some texture, and the fact that there isn't is really disappointing for me. He's not a very desirable figure for me to begin with, and when they make him look like this, they make me want him even less. Overall, the Pulsecon stream was pretty disappointing, and there was not much that was very exciting about these reveals. Well, Soulmates, what do you think about these Pulsecon reveals? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Are you apathetic about them? Are you completely on the fence? I don't know, guys. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If you support what I do, please click subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single video of mine when it comes out. And if you want to hang out with my soulmates, I stream live on Twitch Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be back again soon with some more thoughts about new comic book toy news. And until then, with love from me to you, bye-bye.